guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys enjoyed those little opening cinematics that we did. All thanks to Dan and his handiwork, aka the GOAT.
Here I am.
Well, you guys clicked on this video for one of two reasons. Reason number one, he's probably grinding on something down there. Reason number one, because you guys already follow us and you like the work that we do, and you like our videos. Or reason number two, you want to learn.
Oh no.
First of all, Ben, you are not 6'2". I don't know why you're throwing the seat all the way back.
No, I'm trying to move it forward.
Trying to move yourself.
Yeah, look, my feet can't even touch the.
Right.
Exactly. I'm trying to come forward.
Oh no.
Whatever.
Or number two, you guys are trying to learn about what it's like to own an E92 M3 for at least 1 year. So I did a little bit of research on one of our older videos that we did, which was the F80 M3 video. We dropped probably about a little over a year ago, or maybe about a year.
About a year ago.
About a year ago, and it was Ben's M3 that he had, his F80 M3. And there were three main topics that I thought were absolutely great to go over. And the first and foremost, I think the first one was reliability, performance, and comfortability. I don't know if they were in that order or not, but those are very, I want to say, not controversial topics, but kind of controversial. But basically, everybody is going to want to know these things about these cars before they buy them. Is it comfortable to drive in a long distance? Is it reliable to push the car, a long distance or for an elongated period of time? And does it perform well? So, with that being said, that's what I'm here to go over, at least with my 1 year of ownership. So first and foremost, I'll talk about comfortability. On a scale of 1 to 10, I really want to say, as far as being a comfortable car, I'll give it about an 8. What would you say?
Yeah, definitely.
About an 8.
Yeah,
I wouldn't give it any more than that, because I know for a fact that there are certain cars that when you get in, that's just what their purpose is for, just to be comfortable. They don't have to perform well or anything like that. They're just to be comfortable. So I will say, in comparing, which is kind of a bumpy road. Well, there you go as far as comfort goes. Now, I will say that during my year of ownership, I'm on BC Racing coilovers. I think they're the BR series. That has definitely stiffened up my suspension, I will say that. I think my EDC was going out, and rather than, replacing my whole electronic dampening control, I just decided to go ahead and just put some coils on. That way I can go a little bit lower, and I can kind of have a little bit better fitment as well too. There were other options that I could have done, which was the KW HASS kit, the height adjustable spring kit. And I could have went lowering springs, or I could have went a different type of coilover system, but I just decided to go the safe route and just go with BC's. I will give this about an 8 as far as comfortability goes. For anybody, if you're a new BMW owner, or you're looking to get into a BMW for the first time, I will say that all of the BMWs before the F chassis, and I think that was when they transferred over to the electric power steering, but all of the older BMWs, they definitely have like a more heavy steering feel.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that's something that you're not prepared for, definitely, I don't want to say that you're going to feel like something is wrong with your car, but for a fact, you will definitely notice that this steering is definitely much heavier than, that would be in like a Toyota Corolla or just any other car. I know that once they swapped over to, the electric power steering, I definitely want to say that it definitely lightened it up a little bit. But
yeah, definitely. No, I mean, it lightened it up a little bit, but they gave you that option to stiffen up your steering if you so choose. And then depending on the M that you have, depending on, how stiff or how tight or how heavy your steering feels, I mean, you can't compare, an F80 M3, its tightest point to an M5, right? Yeah. It's just not going to feel the same. One, the car's heavier, two, so on and so forth. But I mean, the purpose of electronic, power steering was to, one, alleviate leaks. Any car that has any sort of power steering will always leak. I don't care if you just replaced it brand new with a brand new reservoir and brand new lines. Yeah. About 10 miles is going to start leaking. And that's just how it is.
That's funny, yeah.
But people like the power steering feel because they feel the car, right? You're feeling the weight of the car, and a power steering in a hydraulic power steering vehicle, because if you move the wheel, that's the fluid moving the rack with the tires and everything else. So you're feeling that. With the electronic power steering, it's much more controlled on that end. It's a lot more that goes into it to make it feel lighter, to make it feel more comfortable. That way you can make very minute movements with the steering wheel, and it's there. But with the hydraulic, it's a lot slower because obviously it's heavier. So,
but you know what I did notice too, like especially when you put in like your sport mode or your M mode, the steering gets even heavier too.
mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I know that's definitely more for like a track purpose, and I personally enjoy it. I feel like I can feel the road a little bit better, and it's more easy for me to kind of feel what's going on with the car.
Right.
But I will definitely say that you will notice that the steering is heavier, but I have no complaints with it. Another thing that I will say, which that kind of furthers my point of giving this car an 8 as far as comfortability goes, is I drove this car all the way to Tennessee and back. I've done multiple 2-hour plus drives and back, and I haven't had any issues. I haven't had any issues with my back, any issues with my legs, my knees getting binded up. I haven't had any issues at all. Now, I had asked Ben, if he thinks that the E9X seats in their M's are more comfortable than the F80 seats or the F8X seats, and he said, yeah, they're what is it, like your buckets? Is that what you would call those seats in the competition? Or are they all like that?
No, I mean, they all have the same similar design, right? So, I mean, the seats that are in your M3 are no different than the seats that are in my 335i. All they did was change the leather and then
give you a little badge.
And they said,
yeah.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
I mean, the bolstering is a little bit thicker and you have a little bit more leather throughout.
Yeah.
And it has a little bit more cushion, in my opinion. But the seats are essentially no different. When it came to the successor generation of the M's, they actually formed an actual bucket seat. And if you had a competition, you had no lumbar support because you had hole cutouts in the back of your seat. But if you had a base, you did get lumbar support, and the base seats were a lot more comfortable than the comp seats because of that lumbar support, and also because you had more padding on the base seats than you did on the comp seats. But the actual design of the seat was the same, essentially.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So I've driven multiple tens of thousands of miles with this car already, and I've sat in this car for multiple hours at a time, and it's a very, very comfortable ride, even with the stiffer VC suspension. My girl and I, we can sit in the car and just have a great conversation for hours at a time and not feel, like when we get out of the car, like our back is going to turn into a pretzel or something like that, or we have to go to the chiropractor after, so I'm definitely grateful for that. Let's see, what else we got? The next topic we can talk about is, let's do reliability. As far as reliability goes, once you get your rod bearings done, because I know that's definitely a topic of discussion with these cars. Once you get your rod bearings done, your throttle actuators, Ben, could you say that this is one of the more reliable M's that are out there on the market?
Yeah, I mean, to that point, I mean, any M is reliable as long as you do the things that are known to fail on them, right?
Right.
So, I mean, this generation of M was a reliable one, but it has its problems just like any generation of M does, whether it's a wear and tear problem or it's a wear over time problem when it comes to maintenance and components. The vehicle itself is fairly reliable. I mean, the more technology you pack into any vehicle, the more things are bound to go wrong, right? Because 100%. When you over-engineer something, there's more components to fail.
Right.
And this being the fourth generation of M3.
E30, E36, E46, E92, yeah.
Right, so this being the fourth generation of M3, it had a lot more technology than its predecessors.
Yeah.
So, but nothing that fails on these is anything crazy. Throttle actuators are a normal wear and tear item. I don't care what anybody says. They have to move. Yeah. They actuate. The OEM ones, right, they do their job. The OEM ones are made out of plastic, and plastic over time wears, so they're going to fail.
Yeah.
Things like that. Rod bearings are 90% of the time due to your guys who are watching this video's error. Not that BMW. Well, that's a topic for a whole other video.
To those of you who are watching this video and already own an E9X, if you haven't bought an M3 yet, then we're not talking to you, but we're talking to your future self.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So
I'm talking to your future self.
yeah, all in all, I mean, this car is reliable. I
There's
mean,
one point that I also wanted to make too. I know for a fact that these cars have proven themselves because of how many higher mileage E92 M3s I've seen. And by high mileage, when it comes to naturally aspirated, in my opinion, I would say high mileage is anything over like 150, 160. It could be way, like, our numbers could differentiate because I know you have a more technical standpoint. You know what I mean? But as far as a car who's 15 years old, it's very seldom that, well, I don't know, you have some guys that like to keep their cars tucked away for the next owner. But nowadays, we're starting to see, you know, E92 M3s with 160, 170, 180. I know a guy who has, I think, like a 212,000 miles on his E92 M3 that he dailies. You know, so I know for a fact that there are some out there that are proven and, you know, to hold up their weight for an elongated period of time. And it definitely makes purchasing one of these cars, to me, an easier pill to swallow, if that makes sense.
yeah.
But I will definitely say that, knock on wood, so far it's been treating me well. In my 1 year of ownership, this car has treated me fantastic. I've had some issues here and there, but they were nothing that your average BMW owner can't handle. So far, I think I've replaced the battery, I've done an oil change, and I've changed my fuel breather valve. I don't know what the technical term for that is. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, fuel breather valve, tank vent valve,
Right.
BLD. There's a bunch of names for them.
That part was like $60, and I had an idling issue whenever I was just idling normally in traffic, or I was moving at, you know, really slow pace. My tachometer would bounce up and down and give me kind of like a hard time. Sometimes the car would cut off, and it was a $60 part that I changed, and it was literally just that, and we moved on with our lives, and I haven't had a single issue since. I'm definitely up for another oil change, I will say that. But other than that, the car has been extremely reliable, and I have no problem, you know, taking this and just going up to New York and back if I really need to. I really do feel that confident in this car. So what else we got? We got performance. This is kind of like save the best for last, because there's plenty of things you can do to these cars as far as performance, but it has a big jump when it comes to expenses. Meaning you can go headers, you can do bolt-ons and stuff like that. That's still going to be kind of expensive, but you're not really going to make much more power. You'll make a little bit more, but that's really it. And then everybody, whenever they get tired of that, they end up supercharging these. And I would like to one day. It just goes back to that reliability thing. You know, I don't know how reliable these will be, you know, when they're supercharged. I mean, what do you think about that as far as like whenever these guys supercharge these?
Yeah, I just think that it depends on how much money you're willing to spend, right?
Fair
Anybody can buy a supercharger kit. You know, your average costing of $7,000. Go to a shop, have them install everything that needs to be installed in order to run a supercharger kit, put the tune on it, and have a great day.
Known one, I think, is it ESS tuning?
No,
Or ECS? I think it's ESS.
yeah, ESS. I mean, don't ask me. I don't know. I don't pay attention to these
Depending on
cars.
where you are, it might
Yeah,
differentiate.
it might be ESS, it might be active, it might be, you know, who knows? You know, you don't see really a lot of them that are supercharged, just for the fact that people like the naturally aspirated version more than the supercharged version. And the people
which
who,
is incredible too.
yeah, I mean, the people who, I mean, think about it. Like you just said, I mean, you know, starting off, you know, you're starting at like $7,000. That's just for the supercharger kit.
Yeah.
If you want an actual good one, you're looking at above 10, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, is it worth spending $10,000 and up just for the kit, not including labor, maintenance, and everything else to make the car run properly after the fact?
Right.
Is it worth that to get an extra 60 horsepower? You know what I mean?
You need brakes right after.
Yeah, so I mean, and the 60 horsepower thing is obviously a joke. Some people get a boost of like an extra 100, 200 wheel horsepower, depending on how crazy you want to go, right? There's 700 horsepower supercharger M3s out there.
Right.
You know, how reliable those cars are, how many times they get a check engine light, how many times the car goes into limp mode because of that supercharger kit is none of my business because I don't pay attention.
Right.
But yeah, no, definitely. So, you know, in regards to performance, you know, I mean, you're getting what you're purchasing. You're not purchasing a fast car, right? You're purchasing a well-performing car, right? And it checks, a balanced car, right? It checks the boxes, right? The V8 engine helps with that weight displacement so that you can throw it around and have, you know, confidence because you feel the car, you feel the steering, you feel the weight of the car. It feels good. You're not coming in too hot or extremely fast, right? As opposed to like a turbocharged vehicle, you know, once you're getting into boost, you're into boost and then boom, you're there. This is kind of just all the way through, you're there.
But you know what? I will say that I've seen plenty of, you know, track videos of E92s or E92 M3s at the track. And I will say that I definitely think they hold their own on the track. They're not, you know, I mean, they're not getting blown out of the water by F80s. And sometimes, you know, they're keeping up just fine with F80s. Sometimes they're keeping up with G80s. It depends on who's driving them. But as far as like, if you're a novice and you're looking for a great M to get into and you don't want to break your bank in absolute half, and you want reliability, you want comfortability, I will definitely say that after owning this car for 1 year, this is definitely an M that I would buy 100%. The F8Xs are definitely getting cheaper. I will say that they're becoming more affordable, I would say as well. But to me, after having this for a year, this definitely, like Ben said, it checks all the boxes. It gives me enough power whenever I want to do anything. You know, I feel great on the highway. I have all the confidence in the world at the track. And I've done rallies. I've driven the tail of the dragon in this. And honestly, I love this car. After owning this car for a year, I absolutely love this car. And yeah, that's really about it. You're owning this car for 1 year has been great. If you guys are looking or watching this video and you're looking for advice, I will definitely say make sure that the throttle actuators are done. Make sure that the rod bearings are done. Have your local mechanic or technician, whoever you know, if you can get somebody out there to look at the car through and through, tried and true, definitely have them do that. And just do your research. Make sure that you're doing your oil changes when you need to. Make sure that you're always keeping an eye on these things, just like how you would keep an eye on any other car. If you treat this car right, it will definitely treat you right and check off all the boxes too. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys liked the B-roll that we threw in there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. And we definitely have some more E92 M3 content coming on the way. And we definitely have some more 335 content on the way as well. For all of you guys who are new to the channel, Ben, right here, he also has a big boy single turbo 335 that he's currently building. And that's probably going to be one of the videos that's going to be either uploaded before or after this one. So definitely look forward to watching that. And my name is Jamal. That's Ben. And peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.